Hello and welcome back to Pass TV, Twitter, hashtag Pass TV. I'm Blaine Barton. With me today, I have John Christina. How you doing, John?
Blaine, how you doing?
One of our sponsors, Hortonworks. And before we do the interview, I want to get to know you a little bit, and our viewers out there, a little bit about yourself, maybe where you went to school, kind of a little bit of your background and how you got here.
Sure. I went to the University of Texas for college, got a computer science degree, and I've always been a bit of a data geek. Started working in as an engineer, writing code for anti-submarine warfare systems, interestingly enough, which generate a lot of data. So I kind of started with big data really early on, and sort of grown through that.
Nice, nice. So as a partner, what Hortonworks, what do you do with Hadoop?
Yep, so we are the company that's taking this open source big data technology called Apache Hadoop and making it and bringing it to the enterprise. And we're doing that as a partner with Microsoft. So we've worked with Microsoft to port Hadoop onto Windows and provide a production-ready version of this software for Windows users.
Okay, great. It looks like you're your only platform available for Linux and Windows. Can you tell us a little bit more and get a little deeper on that?
Sure, that's right. So Hadoop was originally developed on Linux, started back with the big web properties, Yahoo and others working on it, and more organizations realized that they could take advantage of this technology, and we partnered with Microsoft about 18 months ago to port it and make a native version so that we could run it on Windows clients, and it's been great ever since.
Great. So, take a look around. You're kind of a little bit thinner, but man, we had a lot of people here for the past summit. What do you think is your most exciting thing you've seen here today at this kickoff?
Well, I thought the keynotes were great this morning with Quentin Clark and others. So we've been very excited about that. We've had a lot of really great conversations at our booth, and even in just to promote ourselves. And the session that we gave on Hadoop, it was standing room only. There's really a lot of interest in the technology.
Well, on that note, all of our viewers are on the internet right now. Can you give them maybe a little URL where they can go get some of this information?
Sure. We've got a lot of information on hortonworks.com, so www.hortonworks.com, and there's a ton of product information and information about Hadoop itself, tutorials, a sandbox you can download if you want to learn the technology. It's got pre-built tutorials, so it's really the fastest way to learn this new technology.
Excellent, excellent. So are you looking forward to a PASS next year?
Yeah, this is our second
Super
PASS
Bowl,
Summit.
right? A SQL Server.
It's great. I mean, our conversations every year have gotten better and better, and we feel like there's just a lot of interest, and there's a lot of synergy with Microsoft and with SQL in terms of helping companies solve their data problems.
So you're down on the exhibitor floor as well?
We are.
Okay, what's your booth number? You remember? You didn't remember?
Check
them out on the map. Check them out.
On the spot.
Hortonworks. They're down on the exhibitor center downstairs.
In the 300, you can't miss us. Right next to the Microsoft booth.
Well, that's easy to find. It's pretty big right next to Dell, right? So it's all down there.
That's right.
So, well, great. Thanks for being on the interview today. Anything you want to close with?
Nope. Just if you want to try, the sandbox is a great place to start, and we're really enjoying our experience here at SQL Pass.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Great.
John Christina.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hortonworks, sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So next, we're going to keep rolling into the interviews. We got a couple more here. We're gonna tee off. So we got Jez.
Hi.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing tonight?
Jez Borland. Yeah, right here, consultant for Brent Ozar Unlimited.
Yes.
So we're going to get into the interview. We're going to talk about what you're doing with your sessions, but I always like to get to know my interviewees.
Yes.
Get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in all this in the past.
Right now I do consulting, a lot of SQL Server like performance consulting and new implementation stuff, but I actually started with SQL Server writing reports. So I was the person that was doing the TPS reports.
Oh, yes, I do, yes, absolutely, yes.
I actually ended up loving it.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Office work.
And then the DBA left the company, so who was the only other person that knew anything about SQL Server? It was me, so I was the accidental DBA, and I realized I loved it, so I became an on-purpose DBA.
Okay.
And while I was doing that, I discovered that there were a ton of people out there that were blogging and speaking about this. Those were the people I was learning from. Okay. And I got encouraged to do the same thing. They're like, other people can learn from you too. Yeah. And I went, really?
Spread the knowledge, right?
So has started my journey in blogging and presenting and being at Pass Summit.
Yeah, and that's awesome. As we get into some of your sessions and all that, your sessions are like, how do you take something completely boring?
So how do you take
makes it
something
sexy,
nerdy and
right?
make it
What's your trick?
interesting?
Share it with the viewers. Share it with the viewers.
So I'm talking about a few different topics this week.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'll be talking about indexing, right? So we're talking about index methods you're not using. And on Friday I'm talking about SQL Server Agent, which is just this thing that kicks off jobs in SQL Server. So I think a lot of it, my approach is usually to do some humor in it. So the indexing session starts off with a SQL Server Safari.
Okay,
so,
sounds interesting.
Yes. We're going to look at the menagerie of animals in SQL Server.
Nice.
And for SQL Server Agent, right, like I compare it to a secret agent.
Okay,
That goes on, that has gadgets like 007 and missions that it has to go on. Just things that people can relate to liven
right. And make it fun, make it interesting, keep their interest, right, and attention.
So all the great presenters do that. Like one session I sat in this morning, there was movie trivia playing, like those kinds of things that just get people involved.
Sure.
One of my coworkers does her own drawings and puts them in her slides. Like my
neat.
favorite one is a little cartoon Tyrannosaurus Rex running on a treadmill to show like the database can't keep up right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
So it's just little interesting things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
You having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
What's the most exciting? What would you say? I mean, there's a lot of content today.
There's so much, right? It's about the people. It really is. So I get to see people from my local user group, so people that I see, a couple of times a month. But I also get to see people from around the state or the region that I might only get to see a couple times a year. And then there's all the people that I only get to see once a year here. People, I have dear friends from Australia and Slovenia that are in town this week. And this is when I get to connect with them and then meet new people, right? Like today, we had our past chapters lunch.
Okay.
I'm a chapter leader.
Excellent.
I'm sitting there and there are people from nearby that had never heard about us, and we have a monthly user group meeting.
Okay.
Never known us, and I'm like, so can I get your email? And he's like, I'll just be there tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So
So not only is it an annual family reunion, but it's net new, right? It's meeting those folks in the community. They didn't even know around the corner there's a user group that's happening right in their back door as far as SQL Server is concerned.
They're not the only person that does what they do.
Right.
And we have to connect that.
Yeah,
we have to get those people together so that they understand there are thousands of other database professionals facing the same problems.
Right.
That's what we do. We connect them, we answer questions.
So once again, 2 sessions. Index methods you're not using, right?
Yes, correct.
And
people
then
are not using
the
these.
not so secret SQL Server Agent.
The SQL Server Agent.
Yeah, the agent. So
yes. I may be in disguise.
Yeah,
I would be 6
not.
inches taller.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's a pleasure having you on Past TV.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see you around the conference.
I'll be around. I'll say hi. Have a great day.
Care. Thank you. So that was Jess Borland. She works for Brent Ozar Unlimited. She's one of our consultants, also running a chapter for SQL Server. Whoa, how you doing there? That must be Oliver.
Yeah, that's it.
So Engles, how you doing, bud?
Good.
Welcome. So you came all the way from Germany.
Yes.
Yeah. So how you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Really, you got
no
a lot
jet
of energy.
lag. Everything
No, that's great.
is good.
Is it going back? Is that when you get the jet lag, or are you just good?
It's more when you're going back.
Okay,
So
I thought this year.
But it's harder
universal
if you
versus
do
traveler.
the summit in Seattle. So
Right.
Charlotte is much better for the jet lag.
Gotcha. Well, we've got a little bit to talk about here. It's with R versus M and languages and data exploration.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's get to know you a little bit. Tell me about yourself.
Okay.
How'd you get all the way to being able to be a regional mentor or a mentor in Germany and kind of work your way up?
Yeah. We founded, myself and some friends of us and some friends from Microsoft founded the PAS German chapter, or we are 13 chapters 10 years ago. So we will have next year our 10 years anniversary with a big party.
Great.
And I am one of the founding members and work for PAS.
Congratulations.
Work for PAS as such. I'm also a manager of a Microsoft Gold partner in Germany. So we do a lot of BI, we do CRM stuff, and there the community is something very important for me because I also push my employees in community work, having speeches in chapters and so on. So getting to know the community spirit, because I think it's a very valuable thing, even for Microsoft partners.
Yes.
Not just for Microsoft SQL Server users, but also for partners to get knowledge, to get networking, and that's something I try to drive in Germany, and I'm the president of the German user group, so we have these 13 chapters, but in Germany we are a little bit more special. We have a legal entity called PaaS Germany, that's the way, and I'm the president.
Is that a charity not-for-profit type thing? Or
no, you cannot do that as a non-for-profit organization.
But still, you've been established, is what you're saying.
Exactly,
you've got that whole ecosystem that's built.
Yeah, of course. And we have, in Germany, directly to PaaS Germany, we have 4,000 members. Yeah?
That's fabulous.
And that's cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool, and it's growing, and
Yeah, that is great. I see you got an MVP shirt on, too.
Yep.
So we'll just throw in the MVP thing too, right?
Yeah, of course. After a certain while working for the community, you get somehow rewarded because we spend a lot of time for it.
Yes.
And that's quite nice thing for me as well, because you get so many cool people, and you get so many stuff from the product teams and so on, so that's really valuable for me as well.
Right, and it's, MVP is not given, it's a privilege.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you earn it. It's not something that you go and take classes and all of a sudden you're MVP.
Yeah, and it's not something you get for your lifetime. It starts in the trenches, it starts with the community, it starts with your networking and building up, doing things like setting up chapters, setting up user groups, building the community up. And those rewards for MVP come, right? So like to communicate that to the folks. I've nominated several people for MVPs that have gotten MVPs, and based on the types of work they're doing in the community, specifically in the Florida area, but bringing those folks up, of all the good things they've done in the community and bringing them up into MVP, that's what it's all about. Let's talk about R versus M, languages and data exploration. What does that mean? Yeah, this
data
is a
exploration.
Cryptical
There's a lot there.
Session.
Yeah, tell us about that.
And this is a kind of idea we had because there's this thing called Data Explorer, which now has a new marketing branding called Power Query, which is part of Power BI, so the self-service BI stack. And we work with this kind of Data Explorer for a long time. So it was first in the SQL Azure Lab. And I found that quite interesting because I see that a lot of people struggle getting data into their analysis and so on. So I'm always trying to see if there an easier way. And with this kind of Data Explorer, with Power Query, it's quite easy because Microsoft built a nice Excel add-in, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. But the point is that underneath, under the hood of this Power Query, there is a language called M. And this is already since 2008. And it's very interesting because the concept of that language is also quite similar to other languages which are maybe open source and statistical analysis people already use. And what we do in that session is we battle a little bit. So we want to battle it, saying, hey, the information worker today can do things a data scientist, an R statistical expert can do as well, but we do it much easier.
There you go.
So that people understand that there is the learning curve is so easy with Power Query to do special stuff, but the people have a look under the hood and see, oh, okay, there's a lot of things that Microsoft did for us to make this easy.
Right. So your session's on R versus M. When is that?
The session is the last session of the conference. It's on Friday. So I hope we will have some people still interested, still having some power, no memory overflow over the whole summit.
No brain cramps,
exactly,
any of that. I'll be around. I'm closing the actual PaaS TV on that day. So I'll be around. I may sneak over to your session. At least you'll have me there.
You are invited.
Right? So find out a little bit more about this data exploration thing. So great. So Oliver, Engles, thank you very much for being here. Give my regards to Germany. In fact, why don't you do a shout out in Germany?
Yeah, of course.
To all your peeps
because
out there.
Because that's something I really love, that PaaS TV also streams so many sessions.
Absolutely.
I just had a friend of mine email me during a session with Matt Mason saying, hey, I saw you on TV, and that's good, especially for people like in Germany or in Europe, which don't have the possibility to come over. Yeah, they get this content, they get the spirit from PaaS, from the summit, so this is really good.
So now do your shout out in German.
Ja, okay. Viele Grüße aus Charlotte an all unsere SQL-Community-Leute aus Deutschland.
Absolutely what you said.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
being on PaaS TV.
Oops.
Well, you got you there. All right. And we got 2 more interviews. We got Julie coming in. Koesmarno, come on up. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. I'm Blaine Barton. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Having a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. The past summit's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You're a BI consultant
Yes.
for Lobster Pot Solutions.
Yeah.
You founded a past chapter, SQL Malibu.
That's correct.
But before we kind of get into all the other things that you do, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Tell us maybe about where you went to school. How'd you get into founding? The founding mother, I should say, of past chapter, and let's tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the rest of the interview.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I was born in Indonesia, and I moved to Australia when I was 14 or so, and then I decided. I really like traveling, so I come to US quite a bit, and it just when I first started learning SQL, it was after university, and that was great. And then I was introduced to SQL Server by another person about the community and things like that back in 2011. And I went to Past Summit 2011. It was really great, and I thought, okay, I should get into the community and start connecting with people and learning from others and sharing knowledge.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You just had mentioned that you had met somebody that brought you into the SQL community.
Right. Yes.
And once again, we've been talking about the community and networking and the opportunity to be involved, and it sounds like that's how you got started.
That's right.
And that's one of the things we talk about at PASS Summit is how the networking, people not just going to sessions, but networking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Talk about this. You want to talk about SQL Malibu for a minute?
Okay,
What's
sure.
that all about?
So I moved to Malibu for about 9 months or so. When I joined the company, or when I arrived in Malibu, I was trying to search for a local user group. There was one in LA, as in UCLA, so it was a little bit further from the rest of the kind of valley area, and I thought maybe we could start. So I started talking to Carla, and she was really, really nice about the whole process. And we got a sponsor, and then we've got a few people interested. So
Nice.
yeah.
Was that Carla Landry?
Yes, that's Carla
out of Orlando.
Yeah.
So I live in Florida, so I deal a lot with Rodney and Ron and the rest of the folks there. So great resource, right? So virtual chapter mentor.
Yes, that's right.
What's that all about? The PASS program.
So what we want to do is to have some sort of facility amongst a few different virtual chapters that are in a way interlinked to one another. For example, I'm a virtual chapter mentor for the business intelligence, business analytics, master data management, big data, and also women in IT. Wow. So
that's a lot.
Yeah. So the business intelligence one has been around for quite some time now, whereas the other ones are fairly new. So we have learned quite a lot of lessons from the BI, and some of the new ones actually run slightly differently from one another. So what we want to do is to facilitate like a support group in a way, so that if there are any questions that they want to raise, like for example, like marketing, or how to reach more members, or getting speakers, they can just share their information or their questions and help each other out.
Right. So, nice job. I mean,
Thank
it
you.
seems like you really want to make a difference.
Yes.
And be
thank you.
involved in the community.
Yeah.
And all those things can build up to being, the virtual chapter mentor and the founder of the PASS chapter, SQL Malibu. You got a session. You got sessions coming up?
Yes, on Friday.
This is your shout out. On Friday, you got another session. Let's hear about that.
Yeah,
what are you going to be doing?
So the topic is from impact to insightful analysis with geospatial data. So if you're interested in learning how to visualize geospatial data, I think it would be a good idea to come to my session. I'll be showcasing a few different Microsoft BI platforms that are available that you can use. So
excellent. Thanks for being on PASS TV.
Yes, thank you very much.
So Julie, have a great day. The rest of the
same to
day.
you.
We got Thursday, Friday still to go.
Yes.
And try to sneak down and check out the geospatial data session you're going to do. So once again, thanks for being on the show.
Okay, thank you so much.
You bet. We're winding down. We got one more left, one more interview, and we saved the best for last. Christina and Leo, come on in. Yeah. So, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
database developer.
I am a database developer.
Yeah.
And tell me your name again.
Blaine Barton.
Blaine, nice
Blaine
to meet
Barton.
you.
I'm in developer and platform evangelism team. And
Okay.
I run Florida for IT pros.
Oh, cool.
As far as the audience team is concerned.
Gotcha.
So, but welcome. So database developer, and tell us a little bit about the company you work for, maybe how you got started in all this. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Right? It's all about you. It's all about Christina.
Okay, so how long do we have?
Well, take as long as you want.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's
so
give you like 2-3 minutes.
I am an independent consultant.
All right,
I
cool.
work for contract for a company, an investment management firm in Boston that handles about $100 billion in assets for people. That
Wow.
it's kind of a big firm.
Yeah, that's
but
big, big dollars.
my job right now is to manage the intake of the raw data from Bloomberg, ExpressFeed, all the different New York Stock Exchange, all the different money sources that are out there. Suck them into our main database, do our transformations on them, get them into their generic form so that our quantitative analysts can connect their statistics packages.
Try saying that 10 times.
Yeah,
fast,
I
Ken,
can't.
right?
Our quants connect MATLAB,
Okay, gotcha.
which is their stats package,
Yeah.
to our database and do all of their mathematical manipulation on it. So it's an interesting position to be in because we deal with large volumes of data, and we're not dealing with typical end users. They're very, very technologically savvy, and they know exactly what they need to do with the data. They just need it, 40 different sources all in the exact same format so they can plug their formulas in.
And when I go out and do my evangelism around IT Pro, I tell them, the NASDAQ is not running on a MacBook, right?
Heck
so,
no.
so yeah, it's
We've got
it's
about 5
high
terabytes of data that we're dealing with.
high quantity of speed and processing all that data from all those different sources, right?
For us, it's fortunate because it's more of a data warehouse. Static data is not exactly the right term, but it's not high frequency data. We're not doing like hedge fund trading and like thousands of transactions coming in milliseconds at a minute.
Okay.
It's data that's concrete. It's happened already. It's historical data,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
it's back
Massive.
to 1920. So
Massive.
lots and lots.
Massive.
Interesting temporal problems that we have to solve. but,
Okay. Sounds like a big undertaking. You're a member of Past Community.
I am.
What are you thinking so far of Past Summit?
This is my 4th summit.
Okay, good.
The other 3, of course, have been in Seattle. Been involved as a chapter leader in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been in
Excellent.
Boston for the past year, but
Okay.
I grew up in Nashville and have hosted 2 SQL Saturdays in Nashville. Been to lots and lots of SQL Saturday events on their own, and we are so lucky in the SQL Server community. There is no other IT community that I know of that has the sort of camaraderie that we have as a SQL Server community.
Right.
And we get together and everybody's like old friend. I mean, it's like you come home and you see your family, and
Right.
it's really cool.
I mean,
Even
that's
the SQL family hashtag.
That's a consistent theme throughout the day. Is that it's not
That's
only about
good
the
to hear.
sessions and the all the big things that Microsoft's bringing with SQL Server, but it's also community, engagement, seeing the
Like-minded
whites
geeks.
of people's eyes. It's like a family reunion.
Yep.
People from all around the world, they know each other, they work indirectly with each other. It's one way you can all get together.
We feel like we belong. And
Right.
I think it's that
Right.
sense of belonging that's really so important, because it's hard to talk to your family or your friends
Right.
and even
Yeah.
some of your coworkers about what it
Yeah.
is that you do.
Yeah.
And when we get here,
We're all
everybody
geeks.
gets it.
Yeah, we're all geeks.
And that
You
sense
can-
of belonging
You
is
can let
really
yourself
important.
go crazy with T-SQL, right?
Yep.
It's like you
You
can
can.
talk to people about T-SQL.
And they don't glaze
Yeah,
over
right,
and
right.
go,
Right, the deer in the headlights look. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got a couple sessions.
I
right?
do.
Let's talk about this.
I did my window function session today, about 10:45 this morning. It was an introductory session to how the set functions work within T-SQL, and it's not a deep dive, but it's for people that want to get their hands around how they actually work. They've never worked with them before, and they need to understand how the partitioning works, how the ordering works, the quirkiness with the framing, all the parts of the overclause that can be confusing. And very much a conceptual session. What I liked about my audience today is I could see the light bulbs going on as I was pointing out concepts one after the other. People were going, oh, I know how this applies to my data. And the questions they were asking told me they were making connections with the stuff that they do with deal with on a day in, day out basis, which told me I was doing my job.
Nice.
Friday session is on logical query processing order, and that's also a very fundamental session. Folks might think it's very basic, but understanding how the queries are processed from front to back is critical to your debugging skills. If you don't understand how the data set is generated, not physically, it doesn't matter what the query optimizer is doing, but from a logical correctness perspective, if you don't get that, you can't figure out if you've got the right answer at the end or not. So it's critical to your debugging skills, I think. So
right, and the processing order and things logically set up appropriately to make things function.
Exactly.
24 hours have passed. Ring a bell?
It does.
Did you have some involvement with that?
I did. I did a
Participated in some
preview for the Windows function session.
Yeah, what part?
I just did a 45-minute segment of the session that I did this morning that will be streamed today. I think at 6:45 tomorrow morning.
I believe so.
Yeah,
and
so. it was fast and furious. It was difficult without the audience feedback. Because I was just standing in my office in my home and I couldn't really see what was going on or hear, and I'm a little bit nervous because I very much rely on body language to know if I'm getting my point across, but I had a good time with it and I had good feedback, so I knew I was onto something with the topic and that it was useful to folks, so it was encouraging to continue on that
we got a
path.
recording of your session as well. We're going to be playing that eventually and getting to that, and I appreciate you doing that recording, so we'll be sharing that on Past TV as that gets rendered. So what else do you want to share with us?
Oh, now I'm on the spot.
Yeah, go ahead. It's open
I'm
mic. It's open mic time.
Open mic time. Don't make me sing.
It's the last interview of the day.
Yeah,
and
at the
here's
last
time to be
interview
on
of the day.
Limelight,
What
right?
would I share?
Yeah.
Okay, get involved in your local user group. That was the biggest thing that helped me move forward in my professional career is go find your local user group, go find a SQL Saturday, volunteer, go say, how can I help? What do you need done? And you will meet so many people. I can remember my first SQL Saturday in Chicago, 2010, I believe it was, and just showed up said, hey, what do I need to do? And all of a sudden there's Brett Ozar and people that I had been reading their blogs and looked up to as a beginning developer, and it's an amazing opportunity to network with really smart people and learn a ton and give back. And
right.
That's, I think, my favorite part of this is so many people mentored me and helped me move forward. Now it's my chance to pay it forward, and I appreciate that opportunity.
Yeah, but you also reached out, and
you have to
make
take
an
that
effort,
first step.
as the viewer, we realize this, worldwide event here with Past TV, but next year you may want to consider being here, talking to folks like Christina.
And we have
all the other
SQL
folks that are
Saturday
here.
and user group events worldwide. It's not just a United States thing. So there is a local community near you that you can get involved with. Go to SQLSaturday.com or SQLpass.org and you can find the user groups and the SQL Saturdays near you.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for
so welcome.
being on Past TV. So with that, we're going to move just to a couple of resources and then wrap up the day. So once again, thank you.
Thanks. Have
Pleasure.
a good evening.
Yeah, you too.